Additional damage!
What the actual Greetings once again, guys. This is Hufky, always hungry for sieges in Conqueror's Blade. How have you guys been doing? It's been such a long time since I've been playing Conqueror's Blade. It's been like, I believe, 6 months or so. Yeah, I've been doing more than 6 months at sea because my work is there on board a ship. But anyway, we'll be doing a bit of commentary on some gameplay highlights that I've been recently having. These are actually ranked matches. So we'll be doing Spartans and a bunch of Cavs and a very special unit that I couldn't wait to get my hands on at max level. So right now, using Spartans for the last point, it was a very good choice. Right now, this is what we call a shield era. I believe so. A lot of shields everywhere. Spear sergeants, Spartans, stalwarts, everything. All are shields. But with our focus on Spartans, Spartans are still a viable option. They don't deal a lot of damage per se. They soak up a lot of damage, but not that much deal of damage. They do a lot of deal damage at the end of their vengeance when they survive. But right now, being on the Vanguard, they are still a very viable option. You know, they have CC. You know, they have CC, especially during the Spartan Vengeance. This is still also a very good thing to look on. You know, I love still using Spartans as a Vanguard unit. But you know, sometimes with CC skills, when you do them on Spartans during their vengeance, they rise back up like as if that damage was ignorable. You know, one thing they stumble down, but they come back up like zombies or something. Anyway, Spartans for me are still good. Not OP anymore, unlike before. So still on game number one, sometimes from time to time I switch out my weapon just for the sake of flexibility and having fun, you know. And of course I would also use my ultimate, the Rough Justice. I was a fan of Lushaber Strike, but with this season where most of the units are using spears and shields, Lushaber Strike can easily be countered, can easily be cancelled, you know. They can be cancelled even not directly in the face of a Spartan kick. They can be cancelled just from a flying unit that came from a direct Spartan kick. So in this clip right here, it was very fascinating. I was really gritting my teeth just to kill cleanly a spear and shield because you know, 80-70% of all players are now using spears and shields, and I can see the reason why. So with game number 2, we're trying to push here. It seems like at this point I was really focusing on point B. So I had to deal some spear sergeants, a Modao, and another Spartan unit. During the vengeance, you know, you don't expect a lot of kills, both unit and the heroes. What you want to do is to use them, recycle them, and use them for another skirmish or so. At this point, I was really shouting for some reinforcements from my from my allies, sorry. But it seems that these guys wanted to chase me, so I had to do another vengeance and buff them up to survive as long as I could and buy time for my team to come to point B while they are trying to push point A. And at the same time, you know, I wanted to distract the enemy units. I think I was distracting here 2 to 3 enemy heroes with their units, I believe so, from coming to point A. So now they're trying to push point A, and I see a Modao here straight from the Spartan kick and right from a missed the Spartan Vengeance. So I just used my one skill and just pressed V, just blocked some more attacks. And right here I saw a Cav coming by, and I was not planning to wipe out my entire unit just from a bunch of Couturiers. Couturiers are actually very good. Couturiers deal a lot of massive damage when used when used properly. So I had to deal another set of Spartans here. Still shouting for reinforcements from point A. I'm not sure where they were. I think, yeah, they were taking point C and this extra point here. So I just had to stand my ground here and take some damage. But now I see the guys there, so I had to regroup, fall back, buff up, and push. Finally, point B together. Longsword and shields are just for holding out positions. For durability. Perfectly paired for in my opinion with Spartans. With game number 3 is a field match. For me personally, guys, I'm not really a fan of field battles because if you got a 1% on either side of the team, that team would probably lose if they get a 1% or even just less of 1%. Most of the time, but not all the time. Most of the time, that would lose. Just 1%. But in any other, there would be a lot of other reasons. It's very dynamic kind of game. So right now, still doing the Spartan Vengeance here. Me personally, I would like to just stay at point B, hold the ground for point B, a common ground. And here, we're reusing again the Spartans. I don't want to overextend the Spartans because they won't last long after the Spartan Vengeance. The moment they finish, I would pull them back. And while pulling them back, I would expect some kills, some deaths of the unit. But the key here is to use them repeatedly. Repeatedly. Okay? So with that in mind, Conqueror's Blade has a lot of potential per se. They have a lot of potential. In my country, this game's not really famous, but for me, I find the concept of the game very, very exciting, with strategy, in my country, games like Dota 2, some Mobile Legends, Counter-Strike, or whatnot. This game, you don't see this much I don't see this much in my country. So I'm really hoping to buff up some player count on this game. So with game number 4, still using Spartans. Here on my opinion, there should be. I'm not sure if there is an existing principle on whether the units who have the higher ground have the advantage, or is it the units that's below? Because I was thinking about hitboxes or so, especially for the Spartans. If they would do the Spartan Vengeance, would the units on the below would be hit, or would it be the other way around? Anyway, let's talk about that on another time. So right now, I did not want to rush. I do not want to rush the Spartans here, but seeing that there was a siege unit being used, I had no choice. So surprisingly, my Spartans here are still alive. The moment they saw my Spartans pushing, and they had to follow. They need to follow up. At the end of the Spartan Vengeance, the Spartans are very vulnerable. So in game number 4, we were trying to focus here on point B. And I was really confident here that we could make the push up until point B. And that was a mistake on my part because after a few moments after this, I really overextended because I could see myself here pushing. So another set of units, this Cav, I forgot the name. So we had a good push here. We were forming up. We were really forming up against Spear Sergeants. We don't have much of a problem here. The reason here is my Vengeance was still on cooldown, and I saw Cavs on the opposite side and a Yun Uedo cavalry, and unfortunate. Maybe my team was switching to another point. So yeah, very sadness. Moving on for game number 5, we'll be doing some cavalry, the Zuwanjia cavalry. Recently, I just got this recently with with buying sovereigns. With in my situation where I play 3 months for 3 months only, and not is that that's not even every day, and go back to work at sea for 6 months with no internet. So I had to speed things up just to acquire these guys. I can't really see myself uh, I can't really see myself doing the challenges manually, and sometimes it's taking two forever. So I had to spend a considerable amount of sovereigns. The sovereigns to unit unlock is very reasonable for me. It's still very reasonable, but there are just some items in the store, in the shop, where it's for me it's very impractical. One good item there that is not is it's just too expensive are lotus waters. For me, lotus waters to sovereign ratio, it's just too much. Maybe just make lotus water very accessible, because lotus waters are the ones that makes you want to adapt once once you make to adapt your units. Especially for me, I use lotus waters just to switch out leadership doctrines. I think that's one of the sole purpose, just to switch out the combinations of your warband using leadership doctrines. But yeah, Lotus Waters is just one of the stores that have a very a ridiculous amount of sovereigns needed just to buy, and they're not really even accessible unless there is some spectacular event coming up. But for average players, you really need to save up some Doctrine Waters, especially in the late game. But anyway, with the Zuan Jia, they're still a good unit. They're still a good unit in my advice, but not the best unit for now. But aside from a good charge, you really need timing. In this clip right here, I was just trying to take out my Zuan Jia and saw some Orochi Samurai and thought to myself, maybe he could not see me. And boom. Beautiful. Very satisfying. It was very satisfying. But rip to those two Zuan Jia. Rip. So these guys, they really need to have good multitasking. I wanted to try out by pressing the V there, and I don't know where they were going. So, but anyway, a kill is a kill. With the Z1 Jia, you really needed high speed. So it was a mistake on my part that I think you really needed that speed doctrine. The one that when you activate, you have a 15 speed increase for 8 seconds. I think that's a game changer. Don't you agree, guys? I think so. I think so. So maybe I'll just put them back up for the next gameplays. With the Zuan Jia, same applies to every unit. You need to use them repeatedly. So I saw them here very slow. So it wasn't ideal, but it dealt some damage. So yeah, I was just experimenting with these guys, and it was quite late that I knew that they were already nerfed a long time ago. So maybe not the best purchase of unit for me. But yeah, moving on to the next final point, it was very smooth, no resistance at all. So we had a very good push, a very solid push. This was a ranked match, and it was very satisfying to get a kill. To get a win for such a long time of lose streaks. For the next one will be Iron Cap Scouts. These guys are beasts. These are beasts. Aside from being cheap, they deal considerable amount of damage just for a green unit. Very fast and very agile. You know. So in this game number 7, I was really focusing on that enemy supply point there, where there were some long-range units. I forgot the names of those units where there were cannons. Had a kill here, just pressing 2, rip. So yeah, I did not want to barge in directly with these guys because they don't really last much against range units. Although they deal a lot of damage to range units, but the moment they got there, maybe they're already on on low health. So what I needed was some backup, some cover. So the moment I was just waiting, I was just waiting here just to have my allies sending them a signal, and I saw some spear sergeants there, and I was thinking to myself, maybe not, it isn't so much. But the moment I saw the Modaus coming, and I thought to myself, these guys need cover, so I had to charge in to those range units. But the moment I pushed to, by some reason they wanted to change course. You know, I don't- I still don't understand that kind of that concept. But anyway, I had these cannon guys. It was very satisfying to get these kills. I don't know why that guy wanted to focus on that one. We should have been focusing this one. But yeah, killing that was a very good objective. Although it cost me my life. So, but in the end, it was a good push. Even had a kill with the Iron Cap Scout. So yeah, it was a good win. Yeah, even an MVP at that time. Moving on to game number 8. So I'll so this as I said before, Spartans don't last long against fire. And in this season, we it's also a meta, these Rattan pikemen, you know. I have these guys also on my barracks, but these guys really they don't deal a lot of damage directly, but the poison, it's the poison that kills you, you know. For a 5-star unit like the Spartan against Rattan pikemen, it's almost they don't stand a chance. Aside from the damage reduction, they have this slow effect stacking, I believe so. So I had a push here. I really thought to myself, we're gonna beat this boost. But as I look closely, these aren't just average villagemen. These were actual Rattan pikemen. Even my health drops down because of these guys. I don't know why he wanted to back that one out, but I think it was a bad idea they backed one out. It almost wiped out my entire Spartan with those poison stacks, you know. As I believe that they have some damage reduction as well, so the Spartan Vengeance won't be as effective as possible. I had a very good kill here. Very satisfying to kill another spear and shield. Don't get me wrong, please don't hate me. But yeah, spear and shields are everywhere. As for the final game, guys, this is the final range unit that I was dying to get on max level. So this Lion Roar crew, this was actually my first matchmaking with these guys. I believe they were around level 17, level 18. So unfortunately, I couldn't get the final veterancy at this at their level. But level 17 is still good. I was focusing on the top veterancy line at that point. So I wasn't still good at this, but the moment I saw those numbers, ooh, very satisfying. So I was thinking to myself, will they be continuing firing, or I had to manually press 2 all the time, or what? I was really I was really confused at that time. Another push, boom. I think I destroyed another part of that enemy line roar crew. I had to do some damage reduction, and boom, right in the face. It's like a grape shot, you know, a close range grape shot where you have that satisfying feeling. So I was still trying to figure out the basic controls of these guys. I mean, I tried to do the unit training, but you know, it still feels different when you're on the actual siege. This was also on a ranked match. So yeah, these guys don't really don't they don't mess around. As much as I hate these guys on the enemy team, they are really satisfying. So that Cav, it was really satisfying as well to be stopped. Good thing that there was another line crew on the other side to stop the charge. If and if it missed, it would be an unfortunate disaster. So for game number 8, I was just using all the time with this line roar crew to fire out some good chunks of units. Those numbers were piling up so good. Was really impatient with the shots here. And the moment I saw those numbers, I thought to myself, oh, that's so good. But I saw this one guy. I would do the same, you know. I would do the same as a longsword and shield, but then boom, destroyed. Destroyed with, I believe, some Shinji Grenadiers. So yeah, that spells the end for my Lion Roar crew. And surprisingly, I don't see a lot of people using the Imperial Spearmen, these big shield dudes. I believe they are still also a viable option, especially for the defending team. They don't deal a lot of damage, but they have great blocking capacity, you know? And they also have CC. I think so too. Yeah, they have CC, and they cannot be easily controlled with those halberds. The new guys, these guys here. I don't think they can be easily pulled back. It's like there was no movement on that attack, because usually when they use their skill where they pull shields out, uh, they, they didn't move an inch. And when you pair this one with longsword and shields, this is a combination where you don't want to mess around with, especially when you lock in a hero in between you and your unit. Oh, I think you will be stun locked, even jumping around won't save you. So yeah, with game number 8, we were able to defend this with just holding out for the shield era. So yeah, it was a really good defense. So here I tried to lock him in. It was really satisfying. So I think with every 5 strikes or so, in every 5 seconds, a hero would be stunned or something like that. With the enemy's final push, we had to turtle up, heal up as much as we can for the final minute of the push. So as the longsword and shield, I wanted to waste some bullets on those range units. This guy here. And I thought I was dead for, but luckily still alive. Some Modaus in the front. I had to buff these guys. So with 50 minutes down, I think we were just waiting for them to attack, And I saw these guys trying to push. I had to join with the phalanx, but for me, since I was thinking to myself, phalanx, they could handle themselves well, so I wanted to go on the other side just to even out, but unfortunately those phalanx wiped out. And I saw those sitting ducks at the back, and I thought to myself, you guys are just sitting down, why not join in the fray? I don't know, with these range units, sometimes it's very frustrating. Me, I do some range units, but most of the time I like to spend my time in the vanguard, and wanted to lock this guy again, and before we know it was already a win game. It was a good game. Yeah. Oh, it's just so frustrating, man, to get this kind of doctrine. I was really hoping some kind of combat, any kind of combat would have been good. But what are the chances, man? But at least we'll have something on the alchemy, right? Oh my god. Oh.